Best phones under $500, the ultimate 2026 buyer's guide. What if I told you that spending $1,000 on a smartphone might be one of the biggest tech mistakes people still make today? Think about it. Every year, flashy advertisements convince millions of people that they need the newest flagship phone, the latest camera, the fastest processor, the most expensive device on the shelf. But here's the shocking reality. Some of the best smartphones available right now cost less than half the price of those premium flagships, and in many real-world situations, you would struggle to tell the difference. In fact, a few phones under $500 are quietly outperforming devices that cost twice as much in the areas that matter most to everyday users. And that's exactly what we're uncovering today. By the end of this video, you'll know which phones deliver flagship-level experiences without destroying your wallet. You'll discover hidden gems, surprising winners, and one phone that completely changes what we should expect from a mid-range smartphone. But be careful. One of the most popular phones in this price range isn't nearly as good as people think, and we'll reveal why later in the video. So before you spend your hard-earned money, let's find out which phones truly deserve your attention. The smartphone market has changed dramatically over the last few years. Not long ago, buying a budget or mid-range phone meant making painful compromises. You got a slower processor, a poor camera, weak battery life, or a display that felt outdated the moment you turned it on. Today, things are very different. Competition between manufacturers has become fierce. Companies know consumers are smarter than ever. People compare specifications, read reviews, and refuse to overpay for small improvements. As a result, brands have started packing incredible technology into devices that cost under $500. What once required a flagship budget can now be found at a fraction of the price. And that's where our journey begins. Let's start with one of the strongest all-around choices available today. The Google Pixel 9a has become one of the most talked-about phones in this category, and for good reason. At first glance, it looks simple. It doesn't scream luxury. It doesn't try to impress you with flashy marketing. But once you start using it, something interesting happens. The software experience feels incredibly smooth. Apps launch quickly. Navigation feels effortless. Everything simply works. Then you open the camera. This is where Google continues to surprise the entire industry. Using advanced computational photography, the Pixel 9a produces photos that often rival devices costing hundreds more. Daylight shots look detailed and vibrant. Portraits appear natural. Night photography remains impressive. Many users buy expensive flagship phones specifically for camera performance. Yet this device delivers an experience that challenges that assumption. But here's the question. What if photography isn't your top priority? What if you want raw performance? That's where the next contender enters the story. The OnePlus Nord series has built a reputation for delivering exceptional speed at reasonable prices. For users who spend their day gaming, multitasking, editing videos, or switching between dozens of applications, performance matters a lot. And this is where OnePlus shines. The company has consistently focused on fast processors, high refresh rate displays, and smooth software optimization. The result feels surprisingly premium. Animations remain fluid. Games run beautifully. Apps stay responsive. The experience creates an important realization. Most people don't actually need flagship performance anymore because phones in this category have become incredibly powerful. But performance isn't everything. A smartphone can be fast and still fail if the battery life disappoints. And that's where another fascinating competitor enters the conversation. Imagine leaving your house in the morning without worrying about your battery percentage. No charger, no power bank, no anxiety. For many users, that's the dream. And several phones under $500 are making it a reality. Manufacturers have started combining efficient processors with larger batteries and smarter software management. The result is astonishing. Many mid-range phones now last longer than premium flagships. Think about that for a moment. You're paying less money and getting better endurance. It's one of the biggest shifts happening in the smartphone world right now. But battery life isn't the only area where expectations have changed. Displays have evolved too. A few years ago, smooth 120 Hz refresh rates were considered luxury features. Only premium devices offered them. Today, many phones under $500 feature gorgeous OLED displays with vibrant colors, deep blacks, and buttery smooth scrolling. For casual users, the visual difference between a $450 phone and a $1,200 flagship is becoming increasingly difficult to justify. And that leads us to one of the most surprising facts in today's smartphone market. Most people use only a small percentage of their phone's maximum capabilities. Think about your daily routine. You browse social media, watch videos, take photos, reply to messages, check emails, listen to music, maybe play a few games. For these tasks, modern mid-range phones are more than capable. In many situations, they feel nearly identical to flagship devices, which raises a fascinating question. If everyday performance is already excellent, what are people actually paying for when they spend over $1,000? Sometimes it's prestige. Sometimes it's cutting-edge technology. Sometimes it's features they may never use. And that's why understanding value has become more important than ever. Now let's talk about a phone that has shocked industry experts. Samsung's Galaxy A series devices have become increasingly difficult to ignore. There was a time when Samsung's mid-range phones felt like distant cousins of their flagship models. Not anymore. Today's Galaxy A series devices inherit many features from Samsung's premium lineup: beautiful displays, reliable cameras, excellent software support, strong build quality, most importantly, long-term updates. That last point matters more than many people realize. A phone isn't just about how it performs today. It's about how it performs 2, 3, or even 4 years from now. Regular updates improve security, stability, and functionality. In some cases, a slightly more expensive phone becomes a better investment simply because it remains useful longer. And that brings us to the biggest turning point in this entire discussion. For years, smartphone buyers focused heavily on specifications: more megapixels, more RAM, faster processors, bigger numbers. But the smartest buyers have started focusing on something else: the complete experience. How reliable is the software? How often does the manufacturer provide updates? Does the camera consistently produce good photos? Does the battery last all day? Does the phone feel enjoyable to use? These questions often matter more than raw specifications. And that's where many people make expensive mistakes. A phone can look incredible on paper while delivering a disappointing real-world experience. Meanwhile, another device with less impressive specifications can become a joy to use every day. That's the hidden secret behind many of the best phones under $500. They're balanced. They don't try to dominate every category. Instead, they excel where it matters most. Now here's something even more surprising. The gap between flagship and mid-range phones continues to shrink every year. Technology that was exclusive to premium devices eventually trickles down into more affordable products. We've seen it happen with cameras. We've seen it happen with displays. We've seen it happen with processors. And we're seeing it happen again with artificial intelligence features. Tasks that once required expensive hardware are becoming available on more affordable devices. This trend is transforming the entire market. Consumers are gaining access to better technology without paying premium prices, and manufacturers are being forced to compete harder than ever before. The winners: people like you. So what are the final lessons? If camera quality is your highest priority, the Pixel 9a stands out as one of the strongest choices available. If performance and speed matter most, OnePlus continues delivering tremendous value. If you want long-term reliability and excellent software support, Samsung's Galaxy A series deserves serious consideration. And if battery life sits at the top of your checklist, several modern mid-range devices now outperform flagship competitors. But perhaps the most important takeaway is this: don't buy a phone based on hype. Don't buy a phone because influencers tell you it's the newest trend. Don't buy a phone because it's the most expensive option. Buy the phone that fits your needs. Because the best smartphone isn't necessarily the most powerful one. It's the one that improves your daily life without emptying your bank account. And that's exactly why the under-$500 category has become one of the most exciting segments in all of technology. We're witnessing a moment where value, performance, and innovation are finally coming together. The result is simple. You no longer need to spend a fortune to get an amazing smartphone. The future of affordable technology is already here. And honestly, it's looking better than ever. If you enjoyed this video and discovered a phone that caught your attention, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more in-depth tech guides, smartphone comparisons, and hidden tech secrets that most people never hear about. And now I want to hear from you. Which phone under $500 would you choose today, and is there a hidden gem that deserves more attention? Drop your answer in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.